want to talk about a good win to start December. Arizona comes across the country to Hartford, Connecticut to beat a good UConn team, 76-72.
Wildcat Basketball Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the official U of A debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org.
Welcome to Wildcat Weekly with head coach Sean Miller. Wildcats are home on Thursday night and off on Sunday to Alabama. Arizona currently at 6-2 on the season following their 76-72 win at UConn this past Sunday. And coach, that's a great way to start because that was the first true road game for your team. And even you said with all the new parts for your club, you didn't know what to expect going into that ball game. Does it make it even more satisfying to win on the road when you've got some young guys that haven't been in that situation before?
It does, Brian, and I don't think any coach really knows what to expect when you embark on that first true road game of the year. You have freshmen that have never done it before, and then most of the time you have returning players that have a different role than they would have had a year earlier. And in our case, because of so many new faces, I think the Maui experience really helped that because although that wasn't road games per se, it was very neutral, and the game was, all three games were intense and fever pitched, and the other three teams had a lot of fans there as well. So I think it was good preparation for our first road test, and no doubt that helped us.
The bench has played a very valuable role in the last couple of ball games. When you go back to day one of practice, has that been one of the biggest areas of growth in terms of the guys beyond the starters contributing?
It is, and in this year, there isn't as big of a difference between who starts and who doesn't. I mean, we're going to be a team that on a given night, our hope is that different players are going to be able to step up. Really, that was the case at UConn. You know, Ryan Luther didn't start the game, but had a big impact on our win, especially down the stretch, making key free throws. Dylan Smith came in and made two big three-point shots. Alex Barcelo, Ira Lee did a good job giving us minutes, and I think that when you follow us, that's our hope, that our bench and our starters, but just the group of 9 and 10 players that we play, that they're all ready. If you look at our minutes right now, we don't have a single player that averages 30 minutes per game, and I think that allows us to play the game with great intensity, and it keeps our effort level high.
You mentioned after the Maui trip that you wanted to see better organization out of your team. Have you seen that now in these last 2 games?
We're on the right track. We had our moments where we weren't as organized as we would like to be, which is expected late November, early December on the road. But for the most part, especially in the first half, you know, with 5 turnovers at halftime against the way UConn plays, we executed very well. And we want to continue to grow in that area.
Life is what you make it, full of endless possibilities and opportunities at every corner. In our fast-paced world, Hughes helps you with what matters most, delivering dreams, adding value to your life. Where you bank matters, for you, your family, and your future. We are local, rooted in the community you call home. Join us on the journey of life. Hughes Federal Credit Union, ranked the #1 credit union in Arizona by Forbes.
Wildcat Basketball Weekly continues, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, ranked by Forbes as the #1 credit union in Arizona. Learn more at hughesfcu.org/Best Credit Union.
By the time this season is over, could this be one of your better defensive teams? Maybe the better question is, why could this be a good defensive team by the time the season's over?
Well, one is our depth that we talked about. We have a lot of players contributing, and you know, when you're not just dependent on single players to play 36 minutes, never come out, you have a better chance to play with great effort, especially on the defensive end. If something's going to cave in, it's usually on that side of the ball. So playing a deeper bench and getting contributions from those guys, that allows us to be consistent with our efforts. So that would be one thing. And I think the big key question is, can we rebound as a team? So far, so good. I would say in the 2 losses that we've experienced in both of those games, there was a segment of those games that got away from us where the other team got key second shots and they broke our back, especially Gonzaga. And in the Gonzaga game, that was without Chase. I think for us, looking back at that, it gives us some optimism that, you have Chase, hopefully there for the finish, and, a healthy Ryan. Those two things will bolster our rebounding. But as we've talked about, Brian, rebounding for us this year is going to come from the guards, the forwards, and the big guys. And we don't have DeAndre to just kind of get 8 or 9 defensive rebounds in a game. We have to rely on everybody blocking out, and players like Dylan Smith, who've done through 8 games as good of a job as we could have ever imagined rebounding as a guard. So that stat, rebounding, will determine how good of a defensive team we are.
Chase Jeter's had a great start to the season. Look at his points, his rebounds, etc. He is also has this talent of drawing fouls, of drawing charging fouls. That can't be an easy thing to do. How has he evolved in that area?
Well, in the 15 years that I've been a head coach, I can't think of a single player that has taken more charges than Chase. And if you put him in the category of a front court player, that's not even close. Usually big guys are slower to draw the charge than guards and wings. But Chase has a skill. And when you look at the turnovers that we're forcing, a lot of those turnovers happen because we're drawing multiple charges in the same game. If you think about a charge, it's a personal foul on a player, sometimes a very good player. Many times it takes away an easy field goal, a shot at the rim, and it's a turnover all on one play. So it can change the game, and drawing the charge is also contagious. You're starting to see other players join in, and that makes up for lack of shot blocking, lack of height. And I think when you look at our height and our shot blocking ability, those aren't two things we're blessed with. So drawing the charge makes up for it. And again, we're 8 games in. Hopefully we're having the same conversation 30 games in.
Utah Valley coming to town on Thursday night, and they've had a change in personnel. But one thing I've noticed since Mark Polk became head coach there is they're a very good shooting team. Is that something that he teaches, and is that going to be one of the keys for your defense come Thursday?
Well, they take good shots, and recruiting is usually the byproduct of quality shooters. He recruits those types of players, and they have several that can really knock it down. So being able to defend them beyond the arc, they have tremendous ball movement and player movement on offense, and we can't let that player and ball movement break us down, because they're certainly on offense capable of having a big night.
All right, Wildcats and the Wolverines on Thursday night. Then it's off to Alabama on Sunday. And we'll see you next time on Wildcat Weekly.
Thank you for watching Wildcat Basketball Weekly, presented by Hughes Federal Credit Union, home of the free U of A Visa debit card. Get yours today at hughesfcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.